Hey girls, okay. We'll start a new chapter in grammar, the clauses. We finished the phrases. Phrases was what? Phrases was a prepositional phrase. How can I use it as an adjective? How can I use it as an adverb? Noun phrase, a positive phrase. And then we took the verbals, which we said verbals are words that look like verbs, but they function once as adjective, once as a noun, once as adjective, noun, or adverb. They were participles, okay, and then the gerund and infinitive. Today we'll take the new chapter, which is the clause. Okay, clause. What is different between a clause and a phrase? Phrase, girls, we agreed the phrase is a group of words with what and with no what and no what. Phrase is a group of words with no subject and no
verb.
predicate. Yes. Today, independent. We will take the clause, and we have independent clause and dependent clause. Independent clause, independent. What is a clause? Clause is a group of words with a subject and a predicate. Clause is a group of words with subject and a predicate. We have independent, and an independent is standalone sentence, and dependent, it can't stand alone. The independent clause, it is the definition of the independent clause is a clause which can be used as a standalone sentence or with another clause to make a compound or complex sentence. So, you and I say to you, I drink coffee. This is independent clause because you understand what I want to say. I, subject, drink, verb, coffee, direct object, I drink coffee. So you understand what I want to say. Dot, end of text, end of sentence, independent clause. Independent clause can stand alone. I enjoy eating in a restaurant, okay? Or I can put it with another dependent clause because the food is better, for example. Okay? Then, here, independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. The secret of life is honesty. This is independent clause. Secret subject, okay, is verb. Of life is prepositional phrase. Honesty is predicate nominative. So all of it is independent clause. It can stand alone. I can say the secret of life is honesty and then I stop. But can I say if you can fake that and stop? No. If you can fake that, this is dependent clause. You've got it made. You, subject, have, verb, got it made, independent clause. So you've taken independent clause and dependent clause many times, yani. So there is no need to repeat it a lot. We have independent clause and we have subordinate clause. Independent clause, a sentence that can stand alone. When you read it, you understand what the one wants to say. When you read it, you have to put dot because you understand it. The subordinate clause. Oh, independent clause. One more thing about independent clause. Independent clause. When I add it to another independent clause, it forms a compound sentence. So compound sentence is two independent clauses together. And we discussed that we combine them using what, girls? Two independent clauses are combined using
Conjunction. Semicolon.
Semicolon and what?
And the adverb something.
Fanboys.
Yes. Yeah,
Fanboys, semicolon, comma, however, semicolon.
Yes. However,
Yeah.
yes.
So compound sentence is a sentence that is formed of two independent clauses. So I like tea, he likes coffee. I like tea is an independent clause, he likes coffee, independent clause. I combine them using any of the conjunctions, fanboys, semicolon, or semicolon, however come. Compound sentence, again, compound sentence consists of two independent clauses together by a coordinated conjunction, comma, and a coordinated conjunction, comma, and, comma, for, comma, nar. He was tired, comma, for he went to bed early. I cooked dinner, comma, and he washed the dishes. So I have two independent clauses. I can say to you, he was tired and I stopped, and you understand. And I can also say to you, he went to bed early and I stopped. When we put them together, we use what? A compound sentence. This is independent clause. Subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a clause, okay, with a subject and a predicate, which relies on the main clause, but it can't come alone. It cannot come alone. In order to form a full sentence, it can't come alone. On its own, a subordinate clause cannot make a complex sentence. This type of clauses has a verb and has a subject, just like any other clause. It is also known as a dependent clause. This type of clause is used to add more information to the sentence, so it cannot stand alone. I use it to add more information. I use it for information, but I cannot use it alone as a sentence. When I say where she grew up from a young age, what is where she grew up from a young age? I have to put it with the independent clause. I met my wife in London. I can say we will go shopping, but I cannot say alone. Once my husband finishes work, yes, what will happen once your husband finishes work? My son has to be in at 7 o'clock. Great, but can I say because I told him to be is alone? No. The subordinate clause is a clause with subject and the verb, but there is no complete meaning. So you want to tell me that, here is it, I add, independent clause has what? Subject, predicate, and complete thought. Dependent or subordinate clause has what, girls? It also has a subject, it also has a predicate, but no complete thought. Independent clause, what happens to independent clause? Can stand alone. Dependent clause or subordinate clause can't stand alone. Here. This is it. Independent clause, if we make it in the shape of table like here, independent clause here, and subordinate clause here. Okay, so independent clause, what, girls?
Can't stand alone.
Yes, independent clause can stand alone. Subordinate clause.
It does not have a complete thought.
Yes, it can't stand alone. Excellent, Yaman. The three parts of the complete thought of an independent sentence is subject, predicate, and complete thought. The three parts of subordinate clause is subject, predicate, and no complete thought. Okay, this is it, girls. Okay, yes. When I two independent clauses together form what? Form
compound.
Excellent, compound. One independent clause and one dependent clause form complex sentence. That's it, girls. Okay, so let's move to here. Again, subordinate clause, and here is the main clause. Main clause, I crept inside. I can understand subject, verb, complete sentence. Although I was scared, I cannot say it alone. If we look at this sentence, girls, I crept inside here, I was scared. This is subordinate clause. Although I was scared is a subordinate clause. If I remove although and I read it, I was scared, can you understand it? It will be independent clause, right? I was scared in independent clause. Because I added although, it became subordinate clause. So subordinate clause was once an independent clause, but I added although. So these are the conjunctions. These are the subordinate conjunctions that come at the beginning of the subordinate clause.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Sorry. Then we have two parts, essential clause and non-essential clause. Essential clause, the information in the clause is necessary to the understanding of the sentence. They will tell you which one, for example. Okay? When we take now, we will understand more. But I just want to tell you the difference between essential clause and non-essential clause. Non-essential clause, I use commas. It is like the appositive, girls. I use comma before and after the non-essential clauses that interrupt a sentence without changing the essential meaning. It's not important. If I eliminate it, it's okay. Okay? So clauses will tell you more information about the topic, non-essential clauses, which is a signal word for non-essential clause. Okay? So here, girls, the garage that my uncle built is falling down. The garage is falling down, and in the middle came that my uncle built. Here, that my uncle built gives me more details about the garage. It's very important to know which one is falling down, which one is falling down. But here, the novel, which I really enjoyed, deserves a second read. Which I really enjoyed didn't add information to the novel. I don't know till now what is the information. Here, so essential clause. The person, who's the person, which person? Checking tickets at the counter. Checking tickets at the counter. Asked for a form of identification. So which person exactly the checking tickets at the counter? So it is essential. My uncle, who is 80 years old, walks 3 miles every day. It's not important to understand that he is 80 years old. So clauses add extra information to the sentence. When it's essential, it tells me which one and it's important. When it's non-essential, it is not important. Here. Okay, I will explain the adjective clause together, and tomorrow, because we are running out of time, or I will explain adjective clause, and tomorrow we will solve together before the literature. Girls, are you with me?
Yes, miss.
Or would you prefer that we solve now and tomorrow we take adjective clause?
No, solve tomorrow.
Let's solve tomorrow. I lost my book. I don't know where it is.
Okay. So, girls, these clauses that we were just talking about, the clause, the independent clause, I cannot do anything with independent clause. This independent clause, it can stand alone. It is a sentence. I can't do anything with it. But subordinate clause, I take it and I use it. I use it because it helps me in the sentence. Subordinate clause, I take it and I use it. You use it in what, teacher? I use it once as an adjective, once as an adverb. The subordinate clause, I take it and I use it once as adjective clause and once as adverb clause. Adjective clause is very easy. Why, teacher, is very easy? It starts with relative pronoun. It starts with relative pronoun here. So let's understand what's adjective clause first. So I said adjective clauses, which kind of clauses, girls? Independent or subordinate?
Independent.
No, dear.
No, subordinate.
Yes, we have independent clause and we have subordinate clause. Independent clause, cross. We don't do anything with independent clause. We don't do anything. We do with the subordinate. We take the subordinate clause and we divide it into once adjective clause and once adverb clause. Again, subordinate clause, I take it and make it an adjective clause. Why I make it as adjective clause, teacher? Because I want extra information. Adjective clause add extra information to the noun. Noun? Yes, because adjective modifies a noun. So adjective clause is a sentence, but can't stand alone. It can't stand alone. Yani I will not find a sentence and I say this is adjective clause. No, adjective clause doesn't stand alone. Adjective clause is a multi-word that contains a subject and a verb. It has a subject and it has a verb. And together they gather together to tell more information about a noun in the sentence. Adjective clause depend on other clauses in sentence to express a complete thought. And that's why they are referred to as subordinate clause. These are, and at the beginning, they are subordinate clauses, and I made them adjective clause. Adjective clause begins with a relative pronoun. The most used relative pronouns are 5. Who, whose, whom, which, who, whose, whom, which, that. These are the most. Who, whom, whose, which, that. Here. Who, whom, whose, which, that. Relative pronouns. When I say it to you, okay, I saw the man. I, subject. Saw, verb. The man, direct object. Object is noun, okay? I saw the man. Which man? Which man? Then I put a dot, the man robbed the bank. Instead of repetition, the man, I want to combine them together. So I saw the man who robbed the bank. Who robbed the bank? And I made it here. Who robbed the bank here is adjective clause. I say who robbed the bank. Who here is a pronoun. Robbed, verb, bank, direct object. Okay? Here, okay. The man had 2 pistols. He robbed the bank. I want to make it one whole sentence. The man who robbed the bank, and I bring it here because adjective clause should follow the noun it modifies. Adjective clause should follow the noun it modifies. He robbed the bank after man. The man who robbed the bank had 2 pistols. So where is the original? Where is the original sentence? Where is the sentence? The one in black. The man had 2 pistols. The man had 2 pistols. And in the middle, adjective clause. In the middle, adjective clause. Why it comes here? Because it has to follow the noun it modifies. It has to follow the noun it modifies. This is the bank. The bank was robbed yesterday. This is the bank which was robbed yesterday. Again. I said it starts with who, whom, whose, which, that. Okay, another adjective clauses examples. The cake was delicious. This is the sentence. The cake was delicious. Which cake? That she bought. The people who live next door are good neighbors. Who live next door to people. The game. Which game? Which was played yesterday to here. So where is the main sentence here? The game ended in a tie. What's in the middle here? Adjective clause. What's in the middle here? It's adjective clause. I visited the town. They met. I visited the town. Okay, I visited the town only. Where they met is for the town. The leaders the leaders will commence work next week. Whom we elected to leaders. Okay, adjective clause is divided into 2 parts, essential and non-essential. When it's essential, it contains information that we remove from the sentence. It holds the same meaning, okay? It doesn't hold the same meaning. Okay? Ceases, it means ends, to hold the same meaning. It means the sentence meaning will be changed. Non-essential, nothing for the meaning will happen. A clause that gives an additional description that does not necessarily need to understand the intention of the writer. It's okay to eliminate it. Can't do without any additional clause. Essential, adjective clause. Important. Here, give additional information. Non-essential gives additional information. But it's not necessary. The essential clauses will not be with commas. Non-essential adjective clause will be with commas. I don't like people who drink soda without a straw, because I cannot say I don't like people and I stop. Which kind of people? He is a wise man who speaks little. He is a wise man and I stop. I cannot say he is a wise man and I stop. He does what? Who is the wise man? But here, the boy who had been abandoned by his parents finally found a foster home. I can say the boy finally found a foster home without giving extra details who had been abandoned by his parents. They entered the shop, which was a curious, ramshackle building. I can only say they entered the shop. Okay? Here, he says to you that you can eliminate the relative pronoun in the adjective clause. The letter which is sent last week is important. This is adjective clause, which is sent last week. Girls, a very important trick in the adjective clause, it starts with which, as I said, who, whom, whose, which, that. Who, whom, whose, which, that. And it directly follows a noun. Directly follows a noun. So here, the letter which is sent last week is adjective clause. I can eliminate which, so I can say the letter is sent last week is important. The letter, sorry, sent last week is important. The letter sent last week is important, so I can eliminate the introductory for this. Here, the letter sent last week is important. The letter sent last week is important. The letter sent last week is important. I understand it, but here was which and is. Okay? How can I know, teacher, that it is adjective clause when you eliminated the introductory of the sentence? The letter, the article, letter, subject, the letter cannot send. It cannot send. The letter is important. Sent last week is an adjective to letter. It tells me which letter. So from understanding the sentence, I can understand what does he want to say, and this is an adjective clause. Again, adjective clause is a subordinate clause. It has a subject, it has a verb, but no complete thought. I can't say subordinate clause and I stop. It needs an independent clause to rely on, to be with. It is like a little child. He can't walk alone in the street. He needs his parent. So, subordinate clause is a baby that cannot stand alone. It needs a father to go with. Independent clause is a father. Subordinate clause, once I use it as an adjective clause, once I use it as an adverb clause. Today we took adjective clause. How we form it as an adjective clause. You understand, girls?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, miss.
You understand or you slept or what?
No, I understand.
But how can we sleep after the coffee? We can't, Aslan.
So great. This was great to drink coffee at the beginning. So tomorrow, girls, before we get into the literature, we will answer the questions of the grammar together.
Okay.
Okay? Tomorrow we'll have breakfast together, girls.
Okay.
Okay? Take your
Okay.
mobiles to the kitchen and we prepare.
Okay.
Okay.
Yalla, girls. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
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 Bye.